Okay,
Yeah.
so the NCTC, so the NCTC is interesting to me because the NCTC targeted the Occupy movement. The official NCTC Twitter account, which no longer exists, followed my activism Twitter account from the main NCTC account when I was an activist, which was something that at the time I was like, why in the hell is the US National Center for Counterterrorism Control following me? Like, I'm like just trying to feed and house people and like, you know, doing basic activist activities, and yet they're following me from this official Twitter account. And later it came out that sure enough they were heavily involved in the targeting of Occupy and other related movements. So this document here is telling us that in fact they, within 3 months of being created, they were made an NSA customer.
Crazy, crazy stuff. Propaganda says a security agency followed me on Twitter. I don't think, I haven't noticed if they have, but I haven't noticed any security agency type stuff following me. But I have constantly have the NSA or similar type of Twitter accounts that I'm suggested to follow. When the who to follow is there, like 90% of the time the NSA is the top one. I'm just like thanks.
So what I'm getting from this document, which I'm not going to read through word for word, is that NCTC were targeting Occupy, NCTC were an NSA customer. That means that yes, NSA personnel were used in the targeting of the Occupy movement. This is the...
That's pretty massive, I think.
That's pretty massive. There's prior public revelations about FBI and DHS and even the White House being involved in the targeting of the Occupy movement. How do I put this nicely? Take this off share to say this. I have long suspected, for very good reasons, that NSA staff members were involved in targeting key members of the Occupy movement, including myself. This confirms the direct relationship between the NCTC and the NSA.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. I wonder if the Interceptors reported on this one. Probably not. Susie, can you still hear me? I think my internet just kind of
I can hear you. Sorry, I'm just sneezing and coughing and wiping my nose, but yeah, I can.
My internet seemed to go a bit slow for a second, so.
So what the NCTC are supposed to do with their time is conduct strategic and operational planning for counterterrorism activities, identifying, coordinating, and prioritizing counterterrorism requirements, analyzing and integrating all intelligence pertaining to terrorism and counterterrorism, establishing the information and technology systems and architectures for counterterrorism information sharing, and serving as a central and shared knowledge bank on terrorism information. So it's just yet another level of proof that, pardon me, now I've got hiccups just to top it all off. It's just even more proof that counterterrorism resources, which are supposed to be for like violent extremist groups and blah, 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 usually foreign based, were in fact being squandered and wasted on democratic movements of non-violent protesters.
Isn't that so sad? I think
domestically really within the United States. To be honest with you, I find it offensive.
Yeah, that's another.
I find it offensive. I find it offensive as a target, but I also find it offensive just as a member of the public, because they get on TV, these intelligence agencies, and they say Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda, and then they use these resources that they're basically stolen from the public purse to target, well, like single, as I say, so often, solo mum from the suburbs. Like, do seriously think that the public would be on side with counterterrorism resources being used against people like me? There's absolutely no friggin' way. For all of their 9/11, Al Qaeda, axis of evil, blah 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 blah, to go from that, which they use to like pass the terrorism laws and access the terrorism funding and establish organizations like the NCTC, to then targeting people like me in New Zealand in the suburbs, is friggin' despicable and disgusting, and in my opinion has absolutely no basis whatsoever, and with horrific consequences. You know, the idea that systems that are established to target Al-Qaeda, an extremist armed group which bombs people and kills people and destabilizes countries, for that level of resource and training and staff to be used against, like, you know, white chick from the suburbs, like, what the fuck are these people thinking? To use military grade systems against civilians.
Well, even if you were from the suburbs, it would be equally disgusting. But I think that it's really interesting too, and we know that, I mean, the Consortium News publishes articles all the time about the fact that we've basically been documented funding ISIS and similar groups. We basically we trained the founding groups that later turned into Al Qaeda. So yeah, it's a really horrific reality for sure.
Okay. Just go through the rest of the document. Oops. There we go. Former NSA representative to TTIC, such and such, is the SID account manager for this new customer. Although not a CIA organization, NCTC falls within NCR CIA Francine Forney's portfolio. Among the growing NSA contingent at the NCTC is former CT product line chief Bill Gacious, who heads the NCTC Analysis and Production Department, and current NSA liaison officer someone. I think this is the customer relationship of the NSA customer relationship officer. So they've lumped it in under CIA, even though it's not a CIA organization. So the same person, presumably that means the same person who's responsible for NSA reporting to CIA is responsible for NSA reporting to NCTC. That's my read of that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm definitely going to make a note of this document. So I think the fact that NCTC were definitely an NSA customer is significant.